What's going on, everyone? Welcome to episode 28 of the Downtown Browntown podcast. I'm your host, Downtown Brown. Today, we're going to discuss the absolutely dominating win. Bucks dominating the Heat tonight, 132-98. Just got back home from the game, and wow, that was something else. We'll go over all the details here. I mean, obviously, it was just an absolute onslaught by the Bucks. Scoring 46 points in the first quarter, as opposed to 20 for the Miami Heat. I mean, you saw the likes of Bryn Forbes just absolutely lighting it up. He finishes with 22.6 of 9 from three. I mean, I said it in a couple other podcasts that I thought Bryn Forbes was just going to have one of those big games in the playoffs where he's making big time shots. Did I expect it to be game 2 of round 1? Definitely not, but so glad to see it. And after somewhat disappointing game 1 for Bryn Forbes, he follows it up with just a huge game, 6 for 9 from three. I mean, 8 for 12 from the field, 22 points in 20 minutes. I mean, he was just absolutely spectacular tonight. My boy, Pat Connaughton, 15 points, 5 or 9 from the field, all of those being three-pointers. Pat played a really good game. He started off hot, 3 of 3 from three-point land. Gosh, that's a tongue twister. But, I just thought Pat played a really good game in general. I mean, who didn't really from the Bucks tonight, right? But still, I mean, for Pat Connaughton to step in that game, coming cold off the bench, hit 3 3-pointers early on in that game just to add to the Bucks domination on offense and really put this game out of reach like they did in the first quarter. I mean, that was just great play from Pat. He finished again 15 points in 19 minutes. Really great performance by Pat Connaughton. I just really like how he plays off the ball as well in general. He made a couple really nice passes, and he's just a great cutter and really just fits in well with this team, especially when he's playing with Giannis. They've got good connection, and he's never a stagnant player. He's one who's always going to be moving around and trying to create for other guys and hitting those open shots when he's got them. So love the game from Pat, and I always have to point it out because he gets so much rip on Bucks Twitter, and quite frankly, I just don't get it. But again, shout out to my boy Pat Connaughton. Great performance tonight. So let's just get into the breakdown of the game a little bit. I really liked what I saw from the Bucks on the offensive side of the ball. Obviously, I mean, shooting 22 from 53 from three, that's 41.5%. I mean, couldn't ask for anything more than that. The Bucks set their franchise records for three-pointers made in a playoff game. That was awesome to see. But I just really like what I saw from the scheme of the offense from the start. We saw a lot in game 1 that Giannis was just trying to do too much and forcing it, taking bad shots, just not letting the game come to him, not knowing when to pick his spots to attack on offense. That's what we saw a lot of from Giannis in the beginning of the regular season. Just pressing a little bit too much. And I thought Giannis just really let the game come to him tonight. He made plays for his teammates when that was the right thing to do. And when he needed to attack, he attacked and he dominated. I mean, 31 points from Giannis, 12 from 22 from the field, 1 for 7 from three. I mean, it is what it is. He shot a lot of those three-pointers when the game was out of hand and just trying to get some practice in. A couple of them I didn't love, but, not much to be concerned about tonight. The most important thing probably for Giannis, 6 for 7 from the free throw line, had a much better rhythm at the line, didn't get called for a 10-second violation on the free throw line. I mean, gosh, it's just so stressful watching him in the free throw line, no matter what, especially now that they called that 10-second violation in the game 1. I'm always just thinking in my head, like, are they going to call 10 seconds? Are they going to call 10 seconds? It's so beyond stressful. But hey, a much better performance for Giannis from on the free throw line, 13 rebounds, 6 assists, 3 steals, and a block. I mean, that's what we've seen from the 2-time reigning MVP, just absolute dominance. Miami does not have an answer for him at all defensively. I mean, Trevor Ariza, the guy is completely washed. I mean, he's honestly garbage. Like, I thought he was better. And when Miami picked him up via trade, I think he was on the Oklahoma City Thunder. He wasn't even playing this regular season until the Heat traded for him. Pretty much the exact same scenarios when they picked up Andre Iguodala via trade last year when he was on the Memphis Grizzlies. He was just not playing until they traded him. And, when they picked up Ariza, I thought he was going to be like a pretty good player for them. He's been a good 3-point shooter in his career, specifically in his days in Houston and with the Lakers. And he's always been kind of a good defender as well, lengthy three, who can guard multiple positions. But honestly, Trevor Ariza is trash. And he can't guard Giannis. I mean, are you kidding me? Like, he's trying to fill that Jay Crowder role, which Jay Crowder did a pretty good job on Giannis defensively last season, but Trevor Ariza is not even close to the level of Jay Crowder. And clearly we're noticing that in the series so far. I mean, there's just no answer for him. I mean, Bam can't guard Giannis one-on-one. Jimmy Butler has struggled. I mean, they just don't have an answer for him. Clearly, Giannis was just all up in them in the paint in this game, just dunk after dunk after dunk. And it was just incredible to see him really, again, let the game come to him, not force things, and just make the right plays for either himself or his teammates. So hats off to Giannis. Absolutely spectacular performance from him in game 2, and look for him to continue that when we go into Miami here for game 3. So again, really liked what I saw from the Bucks on offense, not just from Giannis's perspective, but from the whole team. We were really moving the ball around a lot better in this game, and just, passing up good shots for great shots. And, Jrue Holiday, I thought, was just absolutely spectacular from a distribution perspective, finishes with 15 assists. He had 7 assists in the first quarter. I mean, obviously when we're hitting threes like we did in the first quarter, if Jrue Holiday's passing them, he's going to rack up the assists pretty easily. But still, I mean, Jrue was just in control of this game from a floor general perspective. And clearly it shows from the stat line. Jrue Holiday finishes with 11 points, 5 for 12 from the field, 1 for 4 from 3, 7 boards, 15 assists, and 2 steals. I mean, just a great performance by Jrue all around. And he's just making such an impact on this team, both offensively and defensively, that clearly it is seen in this series. I mean, the Bucks are considerably better than they were last season when we got just bounced by the Miami Heat in 5 games in the bubble. I mean, just having the presence of Jrue Holiday, PJ Tucker, Bryn Forbes, Bobby Portis coming in off the bench with just all offense, and I really thought that Bryn Forbes played well on the defensive end tonight as well, getting some steals, some loose balls, tip balls, and just really playing hard on the defensive end. Again, but going back to the offense, Jrue Holiday just ran the offense perfectly, and just all around, I really like what I saw from the Bucks, moving the ball around and creating plays for their teammates. So it was definitely noticeable from game 1 where they're a little bit more stagnant, a little bit more ISO ball in game 1. And clearly, that didn't pay off for them. The Bucks struggle a lot of times when they just play that isolation basketball, a lot of one-on-one plays or just Middleton's trying to take a tough fadeaway shot, and obviously he can make them. We saw that in game 1, but that's not the kind of shots that you want to get. Miami, well, a lot of times they're going to live with those tough shots. And clearly, I thought they were a little bit more aggressive on Chris Middleton tonight on the defensive end. I mean, Chris didn't finish with, he still finished with 17 points, 4 for 5 from the field, 3 for 3 from 3-point land, and 6 for 6 from the free throw line. Just a really efficient night from Chris. I mean, he only took 5 shots. That's pretty remarkable. But again, I really think that they put more emphasis on Chris Middleton on the defensive end, and I expected that just after he really carried the Bucks to that game 1 win. So again, that was a little bit of adjustment by the Heat there, but by doing that, it freed up guys like Dante, like Brooke, like Bryn Forbes, Bobby Portis, and obviously we made him pay with that, just knocking down 3-pointer after 3-pointer, and it was just awesome to watch. So yeah, I mean, again, from an offensive perspective, just all around way better game for the Bucks. And free throw line as well, 18 for 20 from the free throw line, 90%. We were 20 for 33 from the free throw line in game 1. I mean, talk about a big time change from game 1 to hit 90% of your free throws. I mean, the Bucks aren't going to lose many playoff games if they're hitting 90% on the free throw line. So that was huge. Obviously it made a huge impact in this game. Miami, from 3-point land, 8 for 28 from three. It's 29%, 24 for 35 from the free throw line, 68.6%. So again, that's kind of like the numbers that we saw from the Bucks in game one. Obviously our numbers were worse from both 3-point land and the free throw line, but still, Miami just didn't have it tonight. I mean, I really thought it wasn't just their offense. I mean, clearly this Miami Heat team does not have a lot of offensive skill set or just offensive creation in their starting lineup and really their whole lineup in general. I mean, Jimmy Butler is not a guy who's just going to go out there and be able to dominate on the offensive end game in and game out. I mean, yeah, he's going to get his, but I mean, again, really rough night for Butler. 4 for 10 from the field, 10 points. Didn't shoot any 3-pointers, 2 for 4 from the free throw line. I mean, Giannis is really guarding Jimmy Butler well, and I'm so glad that Coach Bud made the decision to have Giannis guard Jimmy Butler in this series. Last year in the bubble, again, we saw other guys being thrown at Jimmy Butler, and we were just getting roasted. I mean, whether it was Eric Bledsoe, Dante, a little bit of Wes Matthews here and there. He was the one who played or defended Jimmy Butler the best last season. But really in that situation, when Butler's generating the offense, getting plays for other guys, you got to have your best defender on him, and Giannis should be defending him. And I really like that adjustment here by Coach Bud in this series, and it's made an absolute impact. He was 4 for 22 from the field in game one, 4 for 10 from the field this game. I mean, it's clearly just been an absolutely huge adjustment for the Bucks that I don't think there's any way that he can counter that. I really don't. I mean, where are they getting offense from? I mean, Kendrick Nunn, I mean, yeah, he's a decent player, but he's not going to go out and just light it up on offense. I mean, Duncan Robinson, obviously, he's a guy that they're always trying to create shots for. Again, we saw a similar move by the Bucks on the defensive end, running that drop coverage when Duncan Robinson is or Bam is setting a screen for Duncan Robinson. But we saw a little bit of an adjustment in the second half of game one where we had a help defender kind of helping out in that situation so that Duncan wasn't just hitting wide open threes like we saw in the first half of game one and really all of game one. But clearly the Bucks made a little bit of an adjustment, and they stuck with that in game two, having a help defender there to make sure that Duncan just isn't getting wide open opportunities, because when he gets hot, that really fuels the Miami offense, and just shutting him down. They just don't have many options. Again, not much from Duncan tonight. 10 points, 2 for 6 from the field, all of those 3-pointers, 4 for 5 from the free throw line. So the Bucks did a great job on Duncan Robinson tonight, and that's really going to be huge for them to close this series out, and hopefully, 4 to 5 games, which they definitely can at this point. But again, going back to the Heat's offense, they just don't have much. I mean, like I said, Bam Adebayo, he's not going to generate offense as well. Ariza, I already said he's garbage. 0 points in 19 minutes. The dude is he's terrible. What do they got off the bench? Dragic, yeah, he's their best offensive player off the bench. He had a nice game, 18 points, 5 for 11 from the field in 24 minutes. But, he's just not going to be able to carry the Miami Heat team when the Bucks just can hit 3-pointers at will and just have so many offensive skill players in Giannis, Drew, Chris, Bryn Forbes, Bobby Portis, Brooke Lopez. It's not a match. We're so much better on from an offensive perspective than the Miami Heat are, and it's just going to be hard for them to keep up. And clearly, we saw that in the game tonight. So again, it's just the Bucks are clearly outnumbering this Heat team from a skill perspective, and it's definitely making an impact here as opposed to the bubble last season. And going back to the Heat a little bit on their bench, Tyler Hero, he's just been a huge disappointment this year. We saw him just really come out in the bubble last year and just dominate. The guy looked like he was going to be, a perennial all-star player in the near future with how well he was playing in the bubble last year, but he has just not even been close to the same player throughout the whole season. And clearly we've seen that in both games of the series. I think he was 2 for 10 from the field in game one. Tonight, 4 points, 1 for 5 from the field, 1 for 2 from 3 in 18 minutes. They wish they would have traded him when his value was at the peak. There were talks of the Heat trying to acquire James Harden, and they didn't want to give up Tyler Hero on that trade. Well, guess what? You guys aren't getting jack shit for Tyler Herro at this point in time, because he does not look the same unless he has a revelation the next couple of years and really picks it up. I think the Miami Heat are really going to regret not trading him. But again, just the Heat really don't have much on offense. I mean, they play hard on defense. They've got some good individual defenders in Butler, Adebayo, Iguodala, but they don't have the size to match up with this Milwaukee Bucks team. And clearly we've seen that in both games, whether it was Brook Lopez dominating in the post in game one, Giannis just dominating them in the paint in game two. I mean, and also on the rebounding game, the Bucks have definitely out rebounded the Heat this series. I mean, if you look at total rebounds here, Miami had 36 rebounds in the game. The Bucks 61 in game two. I mean, we're just cleaning them up on the glass. I mean, Brook Lopez is a big dude, and they just can't match up with him. So again, just our size is really giving the Heat problems, and Brook Lopez has been huge in the series so far. I mean, not much from him on the offensive end tonight. 7 points, 2 for 5 from the field, 0 of 3 from 3, 3 for 4 from the free throw line, 6 boards for Brook and 1 block. But again, he's just, a lot of his plays sometimes don't show up in the stat sheet. You know, Brook is just able to, he's had a lot of tipped rebounds in the first 2 games here, and just affecting Miami shots at the rim, getting his hands in their face. I mean, he's clearly making it hard on the Heat team to create at the rim, and it's definitely been noticed. So again, this is a really good series for Brook Lopez to dominate and expose the Miami Heat for their lack of size. So again, really nice to see there. And it's not only that the Miami Heat just don't have a lot of offense, it's that the Bucks defense is elite. I mean, Jrue Holiday, like I said, he's got to be first team all defense. If he gets robbed, it's just a joke. I mean, Giannis obviously is going to be first team all defense as well. I mean, Chris Middleton has defended Duncan Robinson really well, and he's a good on-ball defender when he's really trying, and clearly he's been trying in this series. You know, Dante is a good on-ball defender. You know, again, Brook affecting shots at the rim, being the Bucks anchor on the defensive end, and having a guy like PJ Tucker be able to come in the game and just cause havoc for guys like Jimmy Butler. And clearly, again, like I said in game one, Jimmy Butler is 0 for 6 from the field when defended by PJ Tucker. I mean, his minutes off the bench are huge for this team. And again, the Bucks defense is just giving them fits. And with their lack of offense, I just don't see a way that the Heat are going to win this series. So again, you know, not too much details to dive into after that game. Obviously, everything was clicking from the Bucks, both offensively and defensively, and it was just an awesome game to be at, and just a great game for the Bucks from a confidence perspective, being up 2-0, keeping that home court advantage. And again, now we go to Miami Thursday night. We play the Miami Heat in Miami for game 3. That's going to be the hardest game of the series to win, in my opinion. You know, the Heat are going to have 17,000 fans in that arena. It's going to be loud. It's going to be rocking. They're going to have to win that game or the series is over. So they're going to play their ass off. And clearly they want to get revenge on the Bucks after just getting embarrassed in game 2. So they're going to be playing hard. That crowd is going to feel them. And the Bucks got to be ready to play and be ready to play against a hungry Miami team that they're not going to go down without a fight. You know, they got a lot of dogs on that team, and Coach Spoelstra is one of the best coaches in the league. He's going to have the guys ready to go for game 3. Again, do I think they're going to win that game? I think the Bucks got a great shot. I wouldn't be surprised if we lose 1 of 2 in Miami. That's my prediction. And then the Bucks are going to close it out in 5 at home in Milwaukee. I picked Bucks in 6 to start the series, but just from what I've seen, you know, in game 1, just playing not well at all and being able to squeak out that win, just dominating in game 2. I mean, I think the Bucks are going to take one of those 2 in Miami and close it out in Milwaukee for game 5. So things are shifting a little bit for me from a prediction perspective, but it's hard not to. I mean, the Bucks are in great shape to win the series. I don't see how they can lose it at this point. I mean, it's just, we're going to if we have games like this, there's no shot for the Heat to compete. And do I think we could sweep them? Yeah, I think it's a possibility for sure. It's going to be tough. I mean, like I said, if the Bucks win game 3, then I think there's a great chance that they sweep them. But, you know, it's not going to be an easy game. You know, we've got to be ready to play and be able to, be ready for that rocking crowd in Miami, and just got to come out there swinging, playing hard on defense, making shots, moving around like they did on offense today, and passing up good shots for great shots. So again, just game 3 is huge for this whole series. And if the Bucks can close it out, I mean, it's ours. So can't wait to see what happens. And again, I hope you guys appreciated the episode. That's all I've got for you tonight. Again, if you haven't already, please make sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel. That way you can stay up to date on all of my future content as it is posted. Got a lot of content here coming for you guys in the playoffs. This is what we've all been waiting for. So I'm really excited to make these podcasts for you, and I hope you guys enjoy them. Again, if you haven't already as well, please make sure to follow me on Twitter and Instagram as well. Twitter, I'm at downtown_Brown, and Instagram, I'm at downtown_Brown33, all lowercase there. So just want to thank you guys again for watching, and I hope you enjoyed that win, because it was something special, and I can't wait for the Bucks to close out this Miami Heat team and win this series and finally get that monkey off their back that this Heat team has just caused them fits the last couple of years, and can't wait to see what happens here. Again, thanks again, guys, and go Bucks.